Every day after school, Ayesha and Hana walked down the same long road that led from their school gate to the small neighborhood where they lived. It used to be a peaceful walk, filled with laughter, inside jokes, and dreams about their future. But over the past few weeks, that road had turned into a place they dreaded. Every afternoon, without fail, a group of older boys waited near the corner shop. At first, they only made silly comments, trying to show off, but soon they began stepping into the girls' path, blocking their way, teasing them, and making them uncomfortable. What felt like harmless mischief in the beginning slowly turned into daily harassment, something the girls were too afraid to tell their parents about. They didn't want to cause trouble or worry anyone. But each afternoon, their hearts beat a little faster, hoping the boys wouldn't notice them today, hoping they could just pass by unnoticed. But they never could. One cloudy afternoon, the girls walked even faster than usual. Hana clutched her books close to her chest, and Ayesha kept whispering, "Just keep walking. Don't look back." But they still heard laughter behind them. The boys followed as usual, mocking their steps, making comments neither of the girls wanted to hear. The street was quiet except for them. It felt like the whole world had gone silent, leaving the girls alone with their fear. Hana's eyes began to fill with tears. Ayesha tried to act brave, but even she could feel her hands shaking. She knew they couldn't outrun the situation anymore. It was getting worse every day, and today felt even scarier than the rest. Just then, they heard a distant rumble, something deep, steady, and unfamiliar. At first, it sounded like thunder. But the sky was clear. The rumble grew louder. The boys turned their heads, annoyed at the interruption. Within seconds, the sound became unmistakable. It was motorcycles, several of them, coming down the road. The engines echoed off the buildings, powerful enough to make the ground almost vibrate. A group of bikers appeared around the corner, leather jackets, heavy boots, and shining chrome catching the afternoon light. They weren't speeding or causing chaos, they were simply riding together, strong and united. The boys instantly stepped back, unsure how to react. The loud engines alone were enough to disrupt their confidence. The bikers slowed down when they saw the scene. The leader, a tall, broad-shouldered man named Malik, lifted off his helmet and scanned the street. His expression softened when he saw the two girls standing together, frightened. But his eyes hardened when he noticed the boys hovering close by. Malik was known in the area, not as a troublemaker, but as someone who always stood up for what was right. His motorcycle club often helped with charity events and volunteer work, though their appearance could easily intimidate anyone. Malik walked toward the girls first. "Are you two all right?" he asked, his voice deep but gentle. Ayesha nodded slightly, but the shake in her hands told the truth. Malik didn't push further. He didn't need to. His experience told him enough. He then turned to the boys, and though he never raised his voice, the authority in his tone was unmistakable. "Whatever you're doing here," he said, "it ends now." The boys didn't try to argue. Their bravado disappeared. They mumbled excuses, claiming they were just hanging out and not doing anything. But Malik didn't buy their story. Still, he didn't shout or threaten. He simply stared at them in a calm, firm way that made it clear they shouldn't return. Without another word, the boys backed away and hurried down the opposite street, disappearing faster than they ever had. When they were gone, Malik turned back to the girls, this time kneeling a little so he could speak at their level. "You're safe," he said gently. "Nobody should trouble you on your way home. If they do, you tell someone. Or you tell us. We ride here almost every day." A woman from the biker group, Samina, stepped forward and smiled warmly. She reached into her pocket and pulled out two small reflective keychains shaped like angel wings. "For courage," she told them, handing one to each girl. "Keep them with you, and remember you're not alone." For the first time in many days, Ayesha and Hana felt relief wash over them. It was like a weight had been lifted off their shoulders. Malik signaled to his group, and the bikers moved their motorcycles aside to walk the girls home the rest of the way. They didn't stand too close, didn't overwhelm them, just walked behind at a comfortable distance, like silent guardians ensuring they made it home safely. When they reached the neighborhood, Malik smiled and said, "If anyone bothers you again, just wave to any biker you see. We'll understand." The girls nodded eagerly. Their parents noticed the unusual escort but were more relieved than confused when they learned what had happened. Ayesha's mother thanked the bikers repeatedly, her voice full of gratitude. Malik simply nodded and said, "We just did what anyone should." The next day, the girls walked home again, nervous but hopeful. But something felt different. When they approached the corner where the boys usually waited, they didn't see them. Instead, they saw two motorcycles parked near the shop, their riders chatting casually as if they were just stopping by. But the girls knew better. They knew these bikers were keeping an eye out, not to scare anyone, but to make sure peace remained. When the riders noticed the girls passing, they gave a friendly nod. Ayesha and Hana smiled, feeling safer than they had felt in weeks. Days turned into weeks, and the boys never returned, not even once. The girls began walking home with confidence again. Their laughter came back, their energy returned, and their fear slowly disappeared. The bikers continued their routine rides, but now whenever the girls saw them, they waved happily. The bikers always waved back. It became a silent communication between them, a promise of protection, kindness, and unexpected friendship. One afternoon, after school held a charity event, the motorcycle club arrived to support the fundraiser. Their presence excited the students, who crowded around to see the bikes and ask questions. Ayesha and Hana proudly stood beside Samina, the woman biker who had given them the keychains. They told her how things had changed, how much stronger they felt, and how thankful they were. Samina listened with a warm smile. "Courage grows when someone believes in you," she said softly. "But remember, the strength was inside you both all along." The girls kept their keychains on their school bags, tiny reminders of the day everything changed. Their parents noticed how much happier they had become. Teachers saw the difference too. Ayesha became even more outspoken than before, and Hana slowly became more confident, raising her hand in class, smiling more often, and walking with her head held high. The fear that once clouded their lives was gone. Months passed, but the memory never left them. Even long after the harassment ended, the sound of motorcycles in the distance always brought comfort, not fear. It wasn't about needing protection anymore. It was about remembering that kindness can appear suddenly, unexpectedly, from people you never imagined would care. The bikers didn't know the girls personally, yet they stepped in when no one else did. And that single gesture changed everything. Ayesha and Hana eventually grew older, stronger, and wiser. But, whenever they told stories from their childhood, they always mentioned that one day, when they were scared, overwhelmed, and unsure, and a group of strangers riding roaring machines changed their lives with a single act of courage and compassion. The world had seemed dark to them back then, but those bikers reminded them that light can appear in surprising shapes. Sometimes, the people who look the toughest on the outside have the softest hearts. And sometimes, heroes don't wear capes, they wear leather jackets, ride motorcycles, and arrive exactly when they're needed the most.